The Rosen Report, sports like never before. Brought to you by Gooch Live and Paramount Sports Management. Here's Rosey.
Good Tuesday afternoon. We're back. The Rosen Report took a little bit of a break from Tuesdays and Thursdays for August, but back in my little semi-basement apartment studio. Got my Torino sweater behind me. Yeah, looking forward to it. We're starting again today, Tuesday or Thursday. We'll be back up. Probably keep this until the holiday season. We're gonna have some good shows today. We're gonna have the producer, the one of my favorites, as always. Without him, I don't know what we do. Jordan Rush, the Pan Shot Kid. Bring him up in a second. I'm going to try to have some real good experts on different things as the weeks goes on. I'm going to have my regulars. Jamie McGuire will be on as my regular goalie guy. I'm bringing back Dan Berlin once a month. He'll be my guy on the NFL and different things. We're not just going to stay with hockey, but we are going to really key on hockey. I'm going to have my buddy Mike Wilner, who used to be the voice of the Blue Jays. He works for the Star now. He's going to come up once in a while as we're getting ready for the playoffs. If you're a Jays fan, big loss last night to Tampa. The Yankees won very close. They got a half a game lead in the wild card spot. But we are definitely going to stay a hockey team. I've reached out to a lot of my buddies. I know Gooch has still got his shows on Monday and Friday. We still got the Wednesday and Monday shows with Pete Boombachi and our good friend Chuck Basti. Lost it for a second there. I got to get one of those lights. The producer, Jordan LaRoche, has told me, I'm not technical, everybody knows that, to get one of those ring lights for my computer, and I keep forgetting, and I'm running off on my bathroom light so you guys don't see me dark, and it's really blinding me right at the moment, the old bathroom light. But we'll get everything going. We're going to have some really good shows. Sunday night, still really looking forward to the shows that we do. The Journey with Brad Barco, Barks and Rosey. We did it. I loved the show last week with Shane Smith. What a great guy. We're going to have some really great guests. Ability through disability. And the roundtable stays on Saturday. So why don't we start show number 1 in the fall. We're back on Tuesdays and Thursday, 4 o'clock to 4:30. Let's get this one up. We'll just talk hockey and have some fun for a few minutes with one of my favorites, the producer, Jordan LaRoche, the Pan Shot Kid. Jordan, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Rosie. Not too much. I was a little excited you said football there. I'm a big football guy myself. So,
well, Dan is you know Dan. Dan's a professor at Ryerson. I saw him last night actually, and he said he's going to give me once a month on a Thursday, and we'll wrap the month off. He does the Saturday night for CTV roundup, getting ready for the week, the next day. He's been doing that for a number of years. He's a football expert, so we'll have you on the show when he comes on to do the football once a month football roundup.
Yeah, definitely. I might not be as much of an expert as he is, but right. I'm 2-0 in fantasy, and I've lost a lot of money this season already. So.
All right. Who's your team? Like the Cincinnati Bengals are his team. I hate to tell you, but the Minnesota Vikings have been my team since I'm a young boy, and they are brutal. The good thing about being a Viking fan is similar to being a Leaf fan is by the time week 3 is, you're done, and that's the end of the who's your team?
I'm a bit of a split alliance. I really like the Bills, but the Raiders do have my heart a little bit.
Yeah, there's something about Gruden and those Raiders. I love. They just, they love to just get in your face and against all odds. They're 2-0 right now and 2 big wins.
The defense looks really good. Max Crosby's come back with a vengeance this year. Yep. Henry Ruggs, two big late touchdowns as well. So I think this team is just about as good as anyone.
Solid quarterbacking. I love Gruden as a coach, and you know what? they're playing in Vegas, which how much better can you get there? And they're in a tough division with the Kansas City Chiefs. But you know what? I love. You know what? I still love the Vikings going back to Fran Tarkenton, but every year within the first 3 weeks they do something that make me throw something at the TV, and it happened in the missed field goal to win it.
Yeah.
Like with last play of the game, I'm going, how do you miss that? How do you miss, like, it wasn't a long field goal.
And you hear the commentator go, "It's good." Oh, no, he missed it.
Oh yeah, I heard that. That was, that's, I think that the kicker and the commentator both get fired. But anyways, hey, you know what? Let's get into hockey. We're going to do a quick one today. I know the Gooch is traveling back from Victoria, so we'll get everything on track as we start. Can you believe it? Tomorrow, the Toronto Maple Leafs start medicals tomorrow. What's your thoughts on all of that? Like, I know when with Team Canada, we had our medicals and everything. As a player, whether it's an amateur playing for Canada or you're playing in the pros, medical days are never fun, in my opinion. What do you think the players are going through tomorrow, knowing that they're doing the VO test and all their
I mean, you kind of spend your whole summer working. I think you spend your summer working more towards that and hitting your fitness goals, as opposed to just kind of getting keeping your shape up. So I think that tomorrow's gonna be a big day. Obviously, I mean, teams are going to be hard on their guys throughout all this testing. So it sucks. I've done it, but it's kind of just getting the balls rolling and getting everyone ready.
Yeah, it's not fun. That and I know with the sled guys, we had to do the VO test. With all your mouth and the whole thing. We had to do with our arms, though, not with your legs. Like you guys did on the bike with the legs, we had to do on the bike with the arms. That's fun. Awful. Not fun. But there's let's just brief on the Leafs for a bit. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure going into the beginning of the season. I think Sheldon Keith's got a lot of pressure on him. I think Kyle Dubas has a lot of pressure. I don't think that Austin Matthews does, coming back from a wrist injury, winning the Rocket last year. But a guy who I think is going to have a little bit of that crazy Leaf fan potentially booing on him is Mitchell Marner. Your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. I mean, there are reports after getting eliminated by Montreal that he was on the golf course the next day. And I think he's one of the guys who really needs to step it up. Like, yeah, he has the points in the regular season, but that only helps you so much, right? Like, at the end of the day, you have to be a performer in the regular season and the playoffs, and just Marner has not done that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And hey, let's just say hello to Robert Wine for 1 second here. I know there was an issue on Sunday night. Robert missed he watched the show later, but I told him, both you, me, and Brad Barker, we were worried because he's always on. We had a computer glitch. He's been working his tail off trying to get my website back. There's some domain issue that we can't do it right now, but he's, I give him another shout out, Robert. You're the best at everything you try to do. And then Dad's on, he says, good afternoon, guys. He's upstairs watching.
Yeah.
Is Grandpa watching too, or just Dad?
No, my grandpa's actually out of town for a little bit. He's in Montreal for a few days, so he gets back probably this weekend.
All right, so Dad is. We'll have to get Dad on the show again, getting his opinion. First of all, I like the opinion. Second of all, I love the that love between the two of you guys. And third of all, me and him have the same haircut, so you can't go wrong with that.
I think he might have a little bit. He has little stubs going around him. Around.
I couldn't see it. I wasn't that close. Hey, one team I wanted to watch you guys yesterday. I was on my way to a little bit of a baseball reunion with some old boys I haven't seen in years. Dan Berlin was there. Okay. And I turned the Gooch live on with you last night while I was driving there at 6:00. And I heard some interesting things said. I want to talk for a second about I loved your take on the New York Islanders. I thought Gooch was a little off on the Islanders and his point, because he said, sometimes you got to, it's not just, 1 year, it doesn't make you anything. He failed to, that, the Islanders were Game 7 away from being in the Cup final. Not one, 2 years in a row. Both years that the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Cup, they knocked the New York Islanders out in Game 7 both times to get to the Cup. So I agree with you, Jord. And maybe for our guests on the Rosen Report, let's just go over your thoughts on the Islanders. I really think the Islanders are a scary team, and I think they have everything. And with a pickup like Chara and a coach like they have with Barry Trotz, I really think that the Islanders could, if not win it all, get there.
Yeah, and they didn't change much this offseason, really, and they really didn't need to. They locked up Pelech long term. They brought in Chara, Parise, re-signed a couple guys here and there. But this is a very similar team that we've seen the last 2 years, and I think that they just get back to where they were last year, year before. And my dad just threw the comment, Anders Lee, he's coming back this year as well. That was a huge loss for them, losing their captain.
He's their captain and a hell of a player, too. Not big goals, but he does a lot. And that was the one thing that killed. So Gooch gets Anders Lee's name wrong, called him Andre, I think. But he gets Kyle Suzuki's name right. Suzuki's name right.
Yeah, to be fair, I did have a little the pronunciations for carrying the notes, but
no, I think, John, you are 100% right. Lee was one of my favorites. He's one of those guys that you look at a captain and you go, hey, there must be more to that dressing room, because he's not the big name guy. He's not the 50-goal scorer. He does everything you want, and obviously he's an incredible leader. And there's no way that Barry Trotz is going to have a captain just because he's scoring 50, 60 goals. I think in Washington when he got there was no choice there. Ovechkin was the captain. That's just the way it was. But I love the Islanders. I think why don't you talk just for a second on their goaltending? Because I think their goaltending is exactly the same, and they look solid.
Yeah, with the tandem Sorokin and Samsonov, they're both studs. I mean, they're as good as anyone in the league at this point. And I think Sorokin, they signed him to a 2 or 3 year deal, so he's just going to keep getting better over that time. Samsonov, he might be a little towards the end of his prime, but he's still got a few good years left. I think this tandem is scary. You throw that on top of a really good defense, playing a defensive first system. These guys are just going to backstop them to as far as they can go.
Yeah, I agree with you. Your dad mentioned another really good comment here. Without their captain, Game 7 back-to-back to Tampa, and without their captain. And that for people that are watching right now that don't really know the intricacies of team sport, your captain really in a Game 7, now he might not be worth a goal, but maybe because that game was really close. This past year. So maybe in the second intermission, just saying the right thing. Sometimes, you want to say, as opposed to saying anything, you want to say, and we don't know how Lee leads, but we do know that his players love him. I just really think, that the Islanders have a real good opportunity to do something great this year. And not that Tampa's going to be a bad squad. They're back-to-back champions. They've lost a few people, but they picked up. They picked up Corey Perry. There's a guy who might finally win a cup.
Yeah, and we saw this with the Lightning as they were kind of getting towards the cusp of winning the cup. They had a couple early round exits, mid round exits, conference final exits, and sometimes you need to learn from those experiences. So the Islanders have been there, right down to the wire, and they're going to learn some valuable lessons coming into this year. Yeah.
Hey, and Dad says again, a little boring, and yes, the Islanders are a little boring. But tell you one thing: if I'm an Islander fan or I'm an Islander player, and at the end of the season and all said and done, you hold that Stanley Cup and you were the most exciting team in the world or the most boring team in the world, the cup is still yours. The rings are still yours. I don't think they really care. And I know you guys talked this is not an Islander show, but, you guys talked about Nassau County Coliseum. I had a chance to go there probably about 14, 15 times over the years, and it's loud. I'll give Gooch that. It's a very loud building, but it is one of the most run-down, scuzzy buildings. It was time for that building to go. It almost went a couple years ago, and then they had to bring it back out of hiding. And from what I hear, though, George, the Barclays Center, which there's basketball there, but it's still a half decent place to watch a game.
So I believe my dad actually saw a game there a couple of years ago. He saw the Islanders play, and what the biggest criticism we have was that you're really far from the ice, even when you're like down in the lower sections. Yeah. There's that one corner of the ice where they have the Honda little exhibition there. So I feel like it is made a little more for basketball, and the seats go further back instead of more up.
Right.
So
there's really nothing they could do then. I remember the old odd in Buffalo. You were like, it was scary. If you fell out of your seat, you were on the ice. But there's really then nothing they can do structure-wise to change it for it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe add a couple of rows here and there, but I don't know how much that really fixes it.
Yeah, I guess so. You know what? Let's get into a couple of goaltenders this year I want to talk to you about because, Jamie Maguire from Maguire Goaltending is going to be on Thursday, and he'll pop up and we'll talk a little goaltending with him also. I love the look, the Marc-Andre Fleury look with that number 29, bringing back the Stevie Ludzik number 29, and old Ted Bully when I followed the Hawks way, way, way back. I love Ted Bully from Windsor, Ontario. But he's got that 29. He's got the mask. He's got the gloves. He looks really good. You heard a rumor that this might be a one and done. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, and a big part of that. So there was a report came out a couple of days ago, Marc-Andre Fleury, saying that this could be his last year in the NHL. I don't remember the exact terms of his contract, but he is in the last year or two at most. So we kind of to see about that. But I think if he has a good year and Chicago makes the playoffs and may even go on a little run in the playoffs, which I think is definitely in their wheelhouse, I think Fleury stays. The departure from Vegas wasn't great. But it's something that at the end of the day, he's a professional athlete. And I think if he's having fun playing hockey, which I think he will in Chicago, he stays.
I agree with you 100%. I think it took him I know when it happened and he said he wasn't going to report. We talked behind the scenes and I said, give him some time to relax. He's really upset the way it happened. Let Taves and Kane and the boys talk to him. Let Stan Bowman. He'll come and he'll play. And I think as the season goes and as he gets the mentor, a young, incredible Finnish goalie, I think it's going to be good. Will the Hawks win the Cup? Not a chance, but I think they're going to have a good year. Hey, let's go to your New York Ranger team. Very excited about this team. I think, I don't think they'll win the Cup, but I do think they've got a very legit chance to make the playoffs. And once you make the dance, every partner has the same opportunity to go to that final. I like what they're doing. Talk to our listeners about what the Rangers are doing, in your opinion, as a Ranger fan.
I think that they fixed their probably the most glaring issue was the bottom six. We have all the top end talent in the world with Zibanejad, Panarin, with Lafreniere coming up. We really struggled on the bottom six because we're playing guys like Kapokako, these young, smaller, skilled guys where you need a little more physical veteran presence on those bottom pairings. So they bring in Sammy Blais, they bring in Ryan Reeves. Those two alone, just in terms of physicality and being able to kill penalties, these guys are probably two of the best in the league. And then you look in the back end. We lost Brendan Smith this summer, which isn't a huge loss. But we're bringing in Nils Lundqvist, Braden Schneider, and Zach Jones, who were all first, second round picks. Nils Lundqvist in the SHL last year, and Zach Jones won the Hobie Baker. So we have some really good prospects coming through, and I'm really excited for this year or even the one after, because this Rangers team is going to be a Cup contender soon.
listen, whatever the Rangers lost, they got tenfold better in what they replaced. And I am I have been from day one, man. I'm a massive fan of toughness, and I'm a massive fan of just being able to protect your players, and they have that now. And I love Zibanejad. He's still one. I think Ottawa got just absolutely drenched on that situation. I love him. I think he's incredible. Ryan Reeves, boy, you guys, you will not be going into Madison Square Gardens and abusing the New York Rangers again. Ryan Reeves, in my opinion, is one of the best fourth line guys who can play power play too. The guy's got mitts. He can score. But he's just, I just think he's the ultimate team managing. Every team that let him go, players go like, oh my God, I can't believe we let him go. So we got a couple of things here. Matthew Meisner, our boy from Argentina, is like, hey boys, and he says, one of you guys want to take Eichel off our hands.
We want to just give him to us.
yeah. I think, I don't know the Hawks. We'll keep him off the Hawks. But I think he'd be a nice fit in New York, and if it can work cap-wise and everybody can be happy, Matthew, I think we can probably arrange Mr. Eichel going to the Rangers. Now, I want to ask you a question there, Matthew, and you can answer. How will you feel if Eichel goes to the Rangers and he has his surgery? Just speculation. He sits out the entire year. He comes back a la Kucherov. The Rangers go on a roll, and he's one of the best players in the playoffs. Answer that how you feel then, because I don't know. I think this guy, in the right situation, he's still a world-class player. You agree or disagree, George?
Yeah, and all reports now are showing that he's actually going to go to the physicals at the Sabres camp. So I think he just wants to get through this, and he'll have to kiss some butts along the way to kind of get it done. But in terms of Eichel, I mean, the situation's been dragged out for so long. It obviously can't be good for him mentally, and obviously having to put off this surgery in his neck. This is a pretty serious thing. So I just hope he gets out of there, and I hope he comes to the Rangers more specifically.
Okay, I'm going to put Matthew on the line, and I love Matthew. We've never met, but so he and this drives me crazy sometimes. So Matthew, I love you. Argentina, you're doing great things, but that's fine. He's poison in Buffalo's locker room. He needs a new home. This is what, I don't know. Guys used to say this all the time about different. Do we know that he's poison? Like, I don't know. I've never talked to anybody that's been in the room. Is he really poison? Or is management and him just not seeing eye to eye from day one? You cannot, like, whether you like him, you dislike him, you hate the way things have happened, you can't dispute the guy is a world-class player.
No.
Correct?
Yeah, and he goes to Buffalo. The team has never improved around him. Hockey's not only basketball, but one guy can really change the trajectory of a franchise. So he has to have more pieces around him. Buffalo's as they kind of left him on an island out there.
Yeah. Listen, you know what, Matthew and all Sabres fans out there, I hope Buffalo is a relevant team again. They had great teams back in the day of, the French Connection, René Robert and Gilles Perreault and Rick Martin. They've had great with Hasek, and they got to get back to, the Pakulas. I don't get it. You put a ton of money into that football team. The Buffalo Bills look like world-class, juggernauts. And then, put some money into that hockey team. Buffalo deserves it. They got a beautiful building. I love going to Buffalo to watch games. Hockey Downs. What does that say? I can't read that.
Hockey Towns.
Hockey towns, okay. Hockey towns deserve good hockey. Yeah, and Buffalo is a hockey town. There's no doubt about it. I agree with you. So why don't you, Matthew, get on the horn with the Pakulas and tell them to start putting some money into the Sabres like they do into the Bills.
I think this Eichel trade, it doesn't just help wherever Eichel goes. I think Buffalo, they almost need this. because their prospect pool is kind of dimming out. Casey Middlestat hasn't really worked out, and Dahlin hasn't been the number one defenseman that he needed to be. So again, like you make this trade, you get picks, you get prospects, you get a starting goalie, which they don't have either right now. So I think this trade needs to happen.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, I love talking hockey with you, Jordan, all the time. Let's end on two things, okay?
Right.
I want you to give me a team that's going to fly out, like puck drops October, whatever it is, 15th, 14th?
Around there, the 15th, I think. Okay.
So by November 1st, give me a team that's going to be on fire and a team that's going to be not on fire.
This is a bit of a risk, but for my hot team, I'm going to go with the Flyers. I think that their biggest glaring issue was Alain Vigneault putting the blame on Carter Hart, and when their decor wasn't great last year, they were missing a lot of guys. Shane Gostisbehere, they literally gave away. They gave Arizona picks to take them off their hands.
Yep.
So they had a lot of issues in that team, and they addressed that, getting Ristolainen, getting Ryan Ellis, on top of resigning a couple key guys, got rid of Nolan Patrick. So I think they come out with a full blaze this year.
And the team that's going to be stinky off the start?
I feel like the Sabres would be too easy to say.
Yeah, okay, so say something else.
I think Arizona. Yeah, again, they're kind of on that same boat where they traded away a lot of their pieces, and I think they're tanking for Shane Wright this year, maybe even Bedard next year. So, again, this team doesn't have a true starting goalie right now. They have Coronar and I believe Carter Hutton. So there's a lot of glaring pieces that they're missing there.
Yeah, and you know what? Tanking doesn't always work, because just because you tank doesn't mean you're going to get that ball. Hey, listen, Matthew Meiser, you got the number one pick in Owen Power. He's going to be there next year, maybe the following year. But, the balls fall, the correctly way, and you get right. That's not bad. You just never know. That's how kind of Edmonton was sort of built. It didn't work really for Edmonton with all those number one picks. But okay, I'm going to give Norm about it. Hey, Norm, do you know that I would for a hot team, Avs? Okay, the Avs could be too. Norm, I don't know if Norm knows if Gooch watched the show on The Journey. Norm, I had you as my hero of the week. For what you've done for everything in the game, the original Jet, everything you did in the weekend in the tournament for blood cancers. You were on the journey. Brad Barco and myself at the end of the show, we have a hero of the week. You were my hero. I'm not sure if you watched the show, but you were my hero. So boys and girls and children of all ages, mine are going to get a few people upset, I think. My hot team, right off the bat, it's not going to get Gooch upset. I think the Winnipeg Jets come up flying. I think they come up flying. I don't know how long they fly, but I think we're talking the first 2 weeks of the season on this. A good start, a bad start. And it doesn't mean that it's going to end up bad or good. But I'm going to say that the Winnipeg Jets come out with a huge, huge start.
I agree.
The team I'm going to say is going to have a stinky first 2 weeks, and please don't send hate mail to me. The Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yes, I know the balls to say it, but
I think they're going to have a stinky first 2 weeks. I honestly think that there's going to be a little bit of with Campbell and Mrazek. I like them both, but something's going to happen in training camp with the two of them. You're not starting off with Matthews. He's out for a while. I just think I think they're going to have a good year, but I think they're going to start off really stinky, and I think the Jets are going to start off really good. So we got it. Jordan says the Flyers. I say the Jets on really, really solid. Jordan says Arizona. I say the Leafs on really backwards. That's just a start. For 2 weeks, we're talking, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go nuts if these teams flip it out in 6 weeks later and we look like idiots, because it's just our opinions, okay? So, hey, Jordan, love doing this with you. We'll throw up our opinions every now and then on a Tuesday. Thursday show, we're going to have the great Jamie McGuire from McGuire Goaltending. You'll come on, and we'll go through all the teams and their goaltendings, not only their number ones, but their backups, and some of the teams that we're not sure, like who's number one, who's number two. Like, are we sure that it's going to be Mrazek Campbell, or is it going to be Campbell Mrazek? We'll talk about that on Thursday. But thanks a lot. Spend some time with Dad John. Thanks for coming up. Thanks for the questions. Norm Bowden, you are one of the best. I love you. Who else did we have? We had Barry Shelley, again, one of our favorites on, and Matthew Meisner, obviously, from Argentina. Did we have anybody else come that I missed?
I don't think so.
All right. And Norm says he loves the Avs. Johnny says Ottawa. Does that mean that he likes Ottawa to be good or bad?
Yeah, he's really high in the Senators right now.
And it could happen.
Yeah.
The key with the Senators, John and Jordan, goaltending. They get really good goaltending. They could jump out real good. I'm not sold on their goaltending right at the moment.
I totally agree with that. I've never trusted Matt Murray, really.
Yeah. But at least, Matt Murray, the one thing that the one team out there that would pray, that still thinks, oh my God, we should have kept them, is the Pittsburgh Penguins, because their goaltending is George, you played in that game that we played, the U.S. Canada. I think you could go a couple of periods with the Penguins and be as good or better than those guys right now, and they're making a lot of money.
Yeah, and I saw Tristan Jarry play at the World Juniors, or not the World Juniors, Memorial Cup a couple years ago with the Oil Kings. Didn't impress me then, doesn't impress me now.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's almost like he's afraid. And, if you're not a goalie out there, like George, you're a goalie, I'm a goalie. If you're not a goalie, you might not understand what I say there. But, you say, how can you be afraid of the puck? Well, it's not the fear, the fear of the puck, but it's just that fear. You have to be calm, and you have to just – the puck is got to be your friend. And I think with Yar, he makes the puck like it's his enemy. He plays in this fear of, and that's how he played in the playoffs. It was brutal.
Yeah, he has a hard time controlling his rebounds. He's fighting the puck a lot. So he's giving up a lot of really good chances that, just don't happen with most better goalies.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, George, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Always love your insight. I'll close her up, and then we'll talk again soon.
All right. See you, Rosey.
See you, bud. You know what? You talk about, well, first of all, to me, the best producer in the business. I love him, the Fanshawe kid. But when he comes on, I got a ton of respect for, a lot of people. Well, he doesn't know. He doesn't know the game. He's I'm 61, and that group of guys in their 50s and 60s that drive me crazy. Well, the guy never played the game, or the guy's too young, or he doesn't understand that. You know what? I'm talking to guys in their 50s and 60s. Lighten up and use your brains. Because just because somebody's 21 or 23 or 25 or 30, a guy or a girl, they know the game. They know the game. And this kid knows the game. And I love talking with him because he's got great insight. He follows the game. And he uses his brains when he talks. He doesn't just open his mouth and blurt out diarrhea. He knows what he's saying. So to me, the Fanshawe kid's one of my favorites. I love doing the show. We're back Tuesday, 4 o'clock, Thursday, 4 o'clock. This Thursday, we'll be on with Jamie McGuire from McGuire Goaltending. Jordan will come up and talk goaltending too, because he knows his goaltending. Until then, take care of yourself. Take care of everybody around you. Be smart. Be safe, and God bless.
You've been listening to the Rosen Report, sports like never before, with your host, Rosey. Brought to you by Gooch Live and Paramount Sports Management.